We are coming to you from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, where tonight Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Jose Abreu, Avi Garcia, Melky Cabrera and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Alex Rodriguez and Joe Girardi's New York Yankees. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson with Steve Stone. Welcome back.
Thank you.
As we get set to take the first of a 4-game set here, and it's going to be a huge set. Not for us, but for the Yankees, because as we speak, the Yankees are 3.5 games back of Toronto. And if they don't catch them, then they're going to be in trouble in the wild card. So this is huge for New York.
And with that in mind, what's happened is Chris Sale was pushed back one day. In order to maintain the integrity of the game, instead of pitching a useless game against Detroit, Chris goes to the mound against the Yankees. And he's lost his last 3, but last time out, he can hardly be blamed. He gave up 6 unearned runs. And Chris Sale threw the ball pretty well. He just didn't get the win, and that's really been the case. He's just 12-10. But all those strikeouts, Chris Sale has a bunch of them, and that is the last time out, unfortunately. Losing to the Cleveland Indians, a team that he's had some problems with in the past. He didn't have a whole lot of problems. So with 259 strikeouts, he needs 11 more to get the all-time White Sox record.
Well, Joe Girardi has made himself into a good manager because he's had to. The last few years, he has been crippled up, and this season's no different.
Unfortunately, this year, the Yankees are missing big 3. And when you take a look at who they're missing, you realize how much they mean to them. Number 1, Mark Teixeira out for the year. That's a huge loss because he's a clutch player, hits from both sides of the plate. Tanaka was pushed back 1 start. We don't know exactly when he is going to start. And Eovaldi, who was throwing the ball exceptionally well and getting a whole lot of runs, he's out indefinitely. They don't know when they're going to get him back. However, they do have a couple of guys in the lineup that you have to be concerned with. Number 1, Carlos Beltran from both sides of the plate. He's been terrific. Probably their best clutch hitter in the absence of Mark Teixeira. Number 2, Alex Rodriguez, who got off to a great start this year. He's hit 32 home runs. He's driven in 83. But lately, he's showing his age. He really has slowed up somewhat, but they have to have him rebound or they're going to be in trouble. There you look at the numbers. A-Rod has played 140 games, which for a 40-year-old is pretty good. Carlos Beltran is one of those guys they look to lead the way, and the Yankees are going to be looking to these 2 guys to carry the load.
Well, Teixeira just changes the whole dynamic of that lineup. But this is the first game back home. The Yankees won't have their great number 8.
is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Audi, true in engineering. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places.
Earlier today, they paid homage to Yogi Berra, who passed away, and this is the first game back at Yankee Stadium. And they had a moment of silence. Then Joe Girardi walked out with a few of the players. And that is what they did to remember number 8, a man who won 10 World Series championships. He had 10 rings, an all-time record. The other number 8 is Bill Dickey. It was quite a stirring night here at Yankee Stadium. And Yogi Berra, when you listen to people talk about him, and the newspapers were full of remembrances of him, you realize what a special man and a special Yankee he was. Now they have just removed the 8 from behind the plate. And that means, as has happened with all of the greats that have passed, there will be a baseball game. And the Yankees are trying to make it to the playoffs and trying to accomplish what Yogi Berra accomplished 10 different times. Win a world championship. Joe Girardi wears number 28 because the Yankees have won the World Series 27 times. And Yogi Berra was a huge part of a Yankee legacy that is intertwined in the fabric of this game. Always will be, always has been. And it was quite a night here. Yogi Berra, 90 years old, has passed away, and that is the plaque in Monument Park.
I guess if there's one way you could sum up Yogi in a short, concise way, it would be he was loved by everybody. He was loved by his teammates. He was loved by the opposition. And he was just a wonderful person. I had the pleasure of playing golf with him. I had the pleasure of playing against Yogi. Always had a smile on his face. And he was just, as I said, he was loved by everybody.
What was amazing was that his death came exactly 69 years to the day after he made his major league debut. And quite an amazing guy who managed both the Mets and the Yankees, not only to the World Series, but to the 7th game of the World Series, unfortunately only to lose both times. But he'll be remembered by the fans of both of these teams.
And he was very, very close at one time to managing the Boston Red Sox.
Yankees have taken the field. Let's take a look at how Robin's going to line up our Sox for the game tonight. Adam Eaton leading it off. Then it's Jose Abreu, Melky Cabrera, Trace Thompson in the 4 spot, with Adam LaRoche, Alexei Ramirez, Carlos Sanchez, Tyler Flowers, and Tyler Saladino at third base and hitting 9th. The defense and how they'll line up behind Michael Pineda. Chris Young, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Carlos Beltran in the outfield, with Chase Headley, Brendan Ryan, Rob Refsnyder, Dustin Ackley in the infield, with John Ryan Murphy behind the plate. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Michael Pineda. On for his 25th start, he's 11-8. His ERA 4.10, 141 strikeouts, 145 innings. He's got a devastating slider, and when it's on, he is awfully tough. The umpires for the game tonight: Clint Fagan behind the plate, the crew chief, Fielden Culbreth, is at first, Manny Gonzalez at second, and Paul Schreiber is at third. And so the Yankees, who feel pretty good about making it to the postseason, would love to catch Toronto. That's going to be a tall task. And then they certainly want to secure the #1 wild card, because if they got to play a one-and-done game, they would just as soon play it here at Yankee Stadium. So Robin, hoping that he can put a dent in some of the hopes, at least, for the Yankees. That's one of the reasons why he moved back Chris Sale, whose day was yesterday. Instead of pitching him in a meaningless game against the Tigers, he is pitching him here against the Yankees tonight. So they've thrown the ball around the infield, which means we're ready to play baseball, and that means I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for the first of this huge 4-game set, not for us, but for the New York Yankees. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. As the 6'7" right-hander, first pitch strike. And Steve told you, when that slider is working, you got your work cut out for you. Adam comes in hitting at 280, 13 homers, 50 knocked in. Adam had an 11-game hitting streak snapped yesterday. Outfield slightly to the left, bit of a gap in right center. One out.
Pineda also has a straight change, which is pretty good. You might remember him coming up with Seattle. At one point, he looked like he was going to be a Mariners mainstay for many, many years, but he's had some injury problems.
Here's Abreu. Jose hitting at 292, 29 homers, 96 knocked in. Sox come in hitting at 251 as a team with a 4.01 ERA. And this is the 4th meeting of the year between these two clubs. In the first 3, they won 2 of them. One and one to count.
Beautiful night tonight, 74 degrees at game time.
Well, it's been a beautiful day here in New York. And New York today is just being New York. I've never seen more people. Because that ball hit hard, slicing, but Ellsbury is there. It almost looked like it just flattened out on him. Meanwhile, with 2 out, let's check out our picks to click. Manjo, our director and the crew, with Lexi. Steve's going with Adam Eaton, Don Esposito, Mike Spadali, Matt Keel, Tommy Sheridan, all the guys. We're going to go with Melky Cabrera. Melky at the plate, hitting at 277. Melky picked up his 100th home run yesterday.
Have you ever seen downtown Manhattan as crowded as it was today in the vicinity of our hotel?
Never. I mean, the Pope, of course, is going to hold mass tonight. I can literally throw a baseball on St. Patrick's from my room.
You walk right out the front door, and there you are.
Yeah. Here's the 1-1. I have never seen that many priests at one time in my life. I mean, they're from all over the world. Have come here for the first papal visit, I should say, ever here in the United States. And the security, wow. Two out and the 1-2 pitch. Ryan's got him, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Michael Pineda.
tonight. Kobe Ellsbury leading it off, and it's Chase Headley, Alex Rodriguez, Carlos Beltran, Chris Young, John Ryan Murphy, Dustin Ackley, Rob Refsnyder, Brendan Ryan playing shortstop and hitting ninth in the defense behind Chris Sale. Cabrera, Eaton, and Thompson in the outfield with Saladino, Ramirez, Sanchez, and Abreu in the infield. Tyler Flowers behind the plate. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Chris Sale. Chris looking for win number 13. He's also looking for 11 strikeouts, would give him the all-time White Sox record. He's got 259 and 194 2/3 innings.
So here's Ellsbury. Hitting at 260, 7 homers, 32 driven in. And the first pitch from our 6'6" southpaw, a strike. Ellsbury has faced Chris 3 times, and he's 0 for 3. There's a slider strike, and the count very quickly 0-2. He gone. That didn't take long.
Now, if you're going to start a bunch of left-handers, and Joe Girardi certainly is not going to do that, you're not going to have much luck against Chris Sale. This is a sweeping slider. Ellsbury expands that zone. He's a little frustrated, but he's not the first left-hander to go down looking bad. And he gets thrown out.
That'll bring up the third baseman, switch hitter, Chase Headley at 260, 11 homers, and 61 driven in. He is 2 for 5 with a home run lifetime against Chris.
And Headley is in the middle of a prolonged slump, although he is a better right-hand hitter than left-hand hitter. They signed him to a 4-year, $52 million contract.
And there is a Kansas City special. Little duck snort into right.
That fastball in the inside part of the plate. Headley doesn't get a whole lot of it, but enough to just push it over the head of Sanchez, well in front of Trace Thompson.
So here's Alex at 253, 32 homers, 83 driven in. And has 686 home runs. And he is just 1 run shy of 2,000. And slider down low.
A-Rod has just 37 hits against lefties this year, but 20 of them have been for extra bases.
Foul tipped. Only 7 other players have scored 2,000 runs. He gone. That one went Chris's way. 2 down.
A-Rod having a word with Clint Fagan, and you might understand why. That ball might have been a touch low, but it's a big bat to have walking back to the dugout.
There's Beltran, another switch hitter. 277, 17 homers and 60 driven in. Well, when he does score another run, he will join Hank Aaron as the only 2 players in Major League history with at least 3,000 hits, 2,000 RBIs, and 2,000 runs scored.
That's pretty elite company, I would say. I'm not sure how many more are going to join him. You got to play a long time for that.
Yeah, your chances of breaking Some of these records are nil.
Longevity records, certainly.
Yeah.
And, I mean, longevity with high performance.
Count hangs at 1-2.
Beltran's a pretty good hitter right-handed, a much better hitter left-handed with much more power, especially in this ballpark, which was built for left-hand hitters.
That was a pretty good pitch. He didn't get it. 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. At one time, Beltran was as talented as anybody in the game.
He came up with Kansas City, and there wasn't a whole lot of people could match his ability because there wasn't anything he couldn't do.
And that's in the center field. So man at first and second, 2 down.
He takes this fastball away, and this ball's off the plate, but too close to take. So in protection mode, takes it up the middle. Manny Gonzalez, the second base umpire, just able to get out of the way of it. And Headley could only make it to second base.
So here's Chris Young, former Sox farmhand, and went to Arizona. Chris at 246, 14 homers and 41 driven in. There's a slider strike. And over to Carlos, and that'll retire the side. Nothing across. After 1, there's no score.
In Van Horn, Iowa. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Big right-hander. They got him listed as 6'7", 260 pounds, out of the Dominican Republic. It'll be Thompson, LaRoche, and Ramirez. Takes a close pitch. Could have gone either way. It went Trace's way. Trace hitting at .314, 4 homers, 13 knocked in. He already has 8 doubles and 2 triples.
Pineda came over from Seattle in exchange for Jesus Montero and Hector Nuese. That was back on January 23rd of 2012. And at that point, they thought they had a top of the rotation right-hand starter for quite some time.
That ball hit hard. Meanwhile, Hang Wolfram. One out.
Not only the wrong part of the ballpark, but the wrong man to hit it to, as Jacoby Ellsbury, when healthy, can cover a whole lot of ground in center field.
Here's Adam. Back in the lineup. And he takes ball 1. Now with that patellotendinitis in his right knee. And played since the 13th of September.
Being a dead pull hitter, this should be a park that he's pretty comfortable.
And that's going to be a base hit right in front of Beltran. So you can cancel a post-game show.
Murphy wants it inside. This slider is not inside. It's out away from Adam. He's able to get a good piece of it and drop it in front of Beltran.
It'll bring up Alexei. Alexei at 248, 10 homers, 59 driven home. Takes a bunt, takes a breaking ball, 1-0.
One of the things Sox might be able to take advantage of tonight is Chase Headley has had a hard time with his throws. He's made 22 errors this year, and if not for Mark Teixeira at first base most of the season, he might have about another 10. The throws have been very inconsistent. There's a look at the switch hitter. They signed him to an extended contract. They've got him for another 3 years at third.
That is high in the short left field. And then Ryan goes back, makes the catch. 2 down. So here is Sanchez. Carlos at 232, 5 homers and 31 driven in. We mentioned Yankees coming into the nice action. 3.5 games back of the Blue Jays. First pitch strike. And the count 0-2.
Yankees are playing Carlos to hit the ball to left center field. Young, as you would expect, fairly shallow in left. And Ellsbury leaving a big gap in right center if Pineda will miss with that slider on the inner portion.
Slashes that one into the seats. That's some finals. Now, Major League Baseball. Baltimore beat Washington 5-4. Texas over Oakland 8-1 out at the Coliseum. In Denver, Pittsburgh beat the Rockies 5-4. Dodgers doubled up the D-backs 6-3. Kershaw 15-7 over Corbin, who's 6-5. And retire the side. Second strikeout for Pineda. Starting at 10, preview Saturday's best college matchups on Sportsnet Central. Then at 10:30, go inside the NFL on Playbook with Jim Miller, followed by High School Lights at 11. So don't miss Friday night kickoff starting tomorrow at 10 on CSN Chicago. Is John Ryan Murphy, the catcher. 24 years old.
And he's a terrific backup catcher. He's done just a great job. Those are pretty good numbers for a guy that doesn't get a chance to play very much. Ryan McCann, their number one. Getting a night off against Chris Sale, as you would expect, against a very tough left-hander.
Well, Murphy, 263 minor league hitter. That strike, that evens count at one. That fastball at 95.
You got to figure one of the toughest things in the world to do is come off the bench sparingly for a young player and try to hit. He's only had 139 at bats this year, so he's got to keep both his catching and his offensive rhythm while playing very rarely.
Well, Brian Anderson was talking about that when he was platooning, and he said only thing he got Sabathia, he got guys like that, you know, Randy Johnson.
He got the real tough one.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, if you're going to platoon your right-hand hitter, you're going to get Chris Sale. You're going to get Kershaw. You're going to get those outstanding left-handers. We talked about it a lot. I'll guarantee you there are more right-handed hitters that had rather face right-handed pitching than the good left-handers. He gone. Third strikeout for Chris.
He just reaches back on our Menards pitch tracks and throws him a fastball outside corner. And no contact.
Here's Dustin Ackley. He was really rated the best hitter in college baseball.
Out of North Carolina, was the second player picked in the draft, I believe in the same year Steven Strasburg was drafted.
Two down.
Join us at U.S. Cellular Field on Saturday, October 3rd, as the White Sox host the Detroit Tigers at 6:10. First 10,000 fans will receive an exclusive stretch sale action figure. For tickets or more information, visit whitesox.com.
They'll bring up the second baseman, Rob Refsnyder. 2 for 14 in his limited action. Refsnyder, though, in the minor leagues, was a career .297 hitter.
Yankees believe that he can swing the bat. The biggest problem that he had was the defensive aspect of it. You'd never know it by their numbers, but he hasn't had much of an opportunity here.
Well, when you're a career .297 hitter in the minor leagues, that's a nice approach right there to a left-hander, a real good left-hander, and he lines it into right field.
He takes a fastball away, as you see on our Menards pitch tracks. And even at 97, going the other way, he finds a hole on the right side.
Here's Brendan Ryan, 33-year-old veteran infielder. Hitting at .226, no homers. He's driven in 7. And that is popped up right side. Trace has got him, and it'll retire the Yankees here in the bottom of the second.
Good day to Strong fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
No score, top of the third. It'll be Flowers, Saladino, then back to the top of the order with Adam Eaton. Tyler hitting at .224, 9 homers and 38 driven in. That's flipped into right field, and there's another Kansas City special. Attaboy, Tyler.
Get that ball right in on Tyler's hands, and he was able to just flip it out into right field, right in front of Beltran.
So here's Tyler. Hitting at .239, 4 homers, 20 driven home.
Pineda was an American League All-Star in 2011 while a member of the Seattle Mariners. And then they decided he'd be better suited in pinstripes.
Draws it back, but it caught the zone. 0-1. Well, he's an imposing figure at 6'7", 260.
If he hadn't gotten hurt, there's no telling how good he could have been, because when he came up, there weren't too many people that really enjoyed hitting against him.
No. Oh, 2 the count. And he just did get a piece of it.
Had a chance before the game today to talk with one of the greatest ever, Mariano Rivera. I'm not sure if he is a goodwill ambassador for these Yankees, but he was at the ballpark today. A wonderful man.
Yes, he is.
Really nice man.
That ball into right field. Beltran.
White Sox fans celebrate Hispanic Heritage Night on October 2nd, presented by Miller Lite. There's going to be Latin music and dancing, special activities for kids, an on-the-field parade, and a post-game fireworks show. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Miller Lite, the official beer of your Chicago White Sox. Tickets start as low as $10, so to purchase, visit whitesox.com/NHH.
Here's Adam. He struck out. And he takes ball 1. First of 4 with these guys. Big series for the Yankees. And that is ripped into right field. So we pick up our 3rd hit. 2 on, 1 out. That'll bring up Abreu, who just absolutely teed off on one. Looked like the ball was going to slice away from Ellsbury, but it straightened out on him, and he made the play. And talking about Sabathia, going to get him tomorrow night, and he's going to be facing Carlos Rodon.
CC's got a new brace for his leg, and he says that gives him a lot more stability. He's been throwing the ball a whole lot better. And the Yankees have to have him with their injuries. They have to have him reaching back into days past.
That pitch blowing away, ball 1.
CC 5-9, his ERA 4.80. There's a look at the big left-hander who is so very good, so very long, has had some knee problems, but he's hoping the new brace works wonders for him.
To another count.
Jose can just flip that ball out to right center field. Even though this is wonderful for pull hitters, it's great for right-hand hitters who can hit the ball to right center.
He's trying to hit that one over that Yokohama sign out there in left center. 2-1. And that's chopped down past Joe McEwing. Now go over and pick it up and make himself a new friend. One out, 2 on, 2-2 the count. That ball hit into right field. Beltran. 2 down. So here's Melky, grounded out to Brendan Ryan at shortstop.
There was a time when you wouldn't even think about running on Carlos Beltran. And even though the arm is still okay, it's not near what it once was. He's also playing deep enough where on a base hit, I think Tyler can probably challenge him and score.
Well, as we touched on it last inning, at one point there was nobody in the game who had more talent than Beltran. He was a 5-tool guy. Gap out there in right center if he can find it. That fastball at 95.
Brendan Ryan is playing him pretty much up the middle, but he's not paying a whole lot of attention to Tyler Flowers at second, so he's able to get a pretty good lead and a very good secondary lead.
He accepts, and the 0-2 pitch.
Yankees have been pretty good, not great at home. 41-32. One of the reasons why they find themselves 3.5 games and back at Toronto is that they have not been able to handle Toronto head to head. If they'd have just split with them, they would probably be tied with them. But Toronto has certainly gotten a whole lot tougher since the trading deadline.
Well, that's the issue right there. That's the point. Yep. They're not as good as Toronto right
now. And we both talked about it in the opening. The loss of Teixeira for them is disastrous.
Well, it just changes the whole dynamic of that lineup.
Because as a switch hitter in the middle, a guy with the experience he has and a guy who hits the tough pitchers as he does, that's a huge loss. He's got a fractured leg, the shin actually, almost exactly what Jermaine Dye once did, and he's lost for the rest of the year.
Well, when you had A-Rod hitting third, you had Teixeira hitting fourth, Beltran hitting fifth. That's pretty formidable. There's a base hit, boy. Now they're going to have to hold him. That ball is hit so hard, and he makes a perfect throw. That ball was absolutely tattooed by Melky.
This is another slider. It's down. Pineda really missed with it again. And because it is hit so hard on one hop, Beltran right there to make the play. And Joe McEwing, although he wants to be aggressive, especially with Trace Thompson coming up next, he decides he can't even gamble. He'd have been out by 30 feet.
Easy.
Yep.
Easy. Trace hit the ball very hard. Right at and over the head of Ellsbury, but he went back and made the play. Takes first pitch strike.
Pineda keeps missing with his slider, and he's missed a lot. He doesn't have much of an answer if that pitch is not a wipeout pitch for him.
Well, that was a cookie right there.
Yep. It just hung over the middle of the plate, hung over the inside part of the plate, and he's left some over the middle of the plate.
Might be able to get away with him on first pitch. That one at 95 upstairs, and that's one thing that Trace has discussed. Have to learn how to lay off of.
Good speed out at second. Adam Eaton. A chance to break through against Pineda.
There he gave him another cookie.
He's been very fortunate. He's made a whole lot of mistakes. And to this point, at least, he's gotten away with it.
That's just a flat hanger right there.
Pineda's control has been excellent. Coming into the game tonight, he had 21 walks in 145 innings.
That one at 94. And the 1-2 deliver. We get 3 hits in the inning, can't score. Well, contact the Anita D. Yacht Charters. Anita D. Yacht Charters specializes in fully customizable corporate outings, social events, and weddings. And this aboard their 2 private and exclusive luxury yacht venues. So book today at AnitaD.com. We're in the bottom of the third inning. We have no runs on 4 hits. They have no runs on 3 hits. Top of the order for them, Ellsbury, Chase Headley, and Alex Rodriguez. Ellsbury struck out on a sweeping slider. Ellsbury, who stole 74 bases back in 2009. Just a wonderful talent, but get foul. It will. But it's had a lot of time in that training room.
He swiped just 19 bases this year. Along with Brett Gardner, they really made a formidable 1 and 2 the first part of the year. But as both of them ground down somewhat, the Yankees are not scoring near as much.
That got him. So the leadoff man aboard. Well, the point of the last several years has been one of Girardi having to mix and match and do it with baling wire to keep these guys at or just above 500, and he's done it. It's been amazing.
This has been just an unbelievable year for Joe Girardi, because the pitching staff has come and gone. I mean, I can't remember when they've been able to run the 5 guys out there they planned to run out there when the season started.
Well, it's just if he gets his team to postseason play, he's got to be really in the mix for manager of the year.
He's going to get a few votes, and they will get to postseason play. But the thing that's keeping them from being where the Blue Jays are, they were 6-13 against them. 2-8 here at Yankee Stadium, which is somewhat amazing.
There he goes. Safe. That's his 20th.
Tete was going on first move, and there was very little chance for Tyler Flowers. He just takes off. Chris allowed him to get a walking lead. He was moving forward towards second. You can't allow a base runner to do that.
That was a Louis Aparicio jump right there. That's Louis Aparicio, for you youngsters out there, was a Hall of Fame shortstop for our White Sox and played at Baltimore. And that was a typical Aparicio: lead, momentum, and stolen base. And the thing that was always, from a baseball standpoint, even from the opposition, which I was against Louis, so wonderful to watch, is the fact he only stole when everybody in the ballpark knew he was going to run. There's the strike.
Those were the days, for the most part, where you didn't steal to steal 80 bases.
No.
You stole when you could beat the opposition, when it was really important to beat the opposition.
No, if you had tried to do that back in those days, you would have never had the opportunity to steal 80. You'd have been an ICU. Oh, he just ate him up right there.
And they're going to call him out.
Interference. So you take the good speed off. And a good play by Alexis. Now Girardi's going to come out and have his say.
Take another look at it. Ellsbury. Now Ellsbury took a look where Alexis was, and he seemed to just shadow him. He stops, he starts, he stops, and then Alexis has to push him out of the way and can't get to the baseball. Now Joe quite obviously is going to lose this one. Now he's talking with Field and Culbreth, who's the crew chief.
Well, you can't blame Joe.
No, this is a big call for Joe.
So 1 out. And very little speed on the base paths now. So a smart play by Alexei. Gets a little nod for a nice acting job as well.
He did that indeed. Looked like he was dancing with him for a moment.
Alex can't get it. He struck out, called out on what was a bad pitch. Outfield straight up. And the count 3-1. So the first walk issued in this game.
The White Sox and New Amsterdam vodka both know what it's like to taste greatness. And for New Amsterdam vodka, that taste is award-winning smoothness. So when you're with your friends, lift a glass to your team, Chicago. New Amsterdam, it's your town. New Amsterdam is the official vodka of the Chicago White Sox.
So here's Beltran.
The way Carlos has been swinging it lately, this would be the last guy you'd want to face with a runner in scoring position. And Don Cooper now is coming out to have a word with Chris Sale. He's had a very short conversation. And now Chris is ready to go back to work.
Just whistle that one right on by him. That one at 97. Well, we saw a little bit of that yesterday from Verlander. And that one at 96. Verlander.
He
got in the jam in the 7th to Giovanni. 97, 98, and 99.
As I say, he had 99 in his pocket the whole time, although you didn't see it. And then finally, when he needed it, when he knew that that was going to be it at the 112 or 114 pitch mark, he brought it out.
He did that. He only threw 199, and that was a strikeout. That slider tried to backdoor and missed. So the count evens at 2. Yeah, Verlander started off 89 to 92. That was a typical start for Verlander.
I was going to say that's what he used to do in the good old days.
That ball hit hard. And it is 3-0 Yankees. Hit by pitch. A walk and a homer.
You talked about the one man in this lineup you do not want to face in these situations, and it's a guy that just hit the ball out of the park. Ford home run replay. It's a fastball, and it catches pretty much the inside part of the plate, but not inside enough. And Beltran gets ahead of the bat out and takes it out.
Well, he keeps it fair. You see the short arms right there. He's a veteran. He's seen enough, whereas he can do that when he sees that fastball on the inner half. And it really doesn't make any difference how hard it is. If he's looking for it and he gets it there, the key is keeping it fair, and that's what he did. Chris Young. The 0-2 pitch. He gone. 4 strikeouts now for Chris. That's the difference in a veteran right there than a young player. Young player gets the same pitch from Chris. He's going to hit it hard, but it's going to be foul.
Well, there's certainly a lot of slack to pick up in the absence of Mark Teixeira. And it's been Beltran, by and large, who's been picking it up.
And of course, A-Rod scoring his 2,000th run, and we'll tell you more about that when we return.
Delicious food and beverage options for you to enjoy prior and during White Sox games. For more information, call 312-674-1000.
3-0. 3-run homer by Carlos Beltran. That knocked in Headley and Alex Rodriguez. As they put the shift on, Adam lined a single into right field his first trip. But here's that 2000s run by Alex Rodriguez, waiting for Beltran. So Alex Rodriguez becomes only the second player in Major League history, along with Hank Aaron, is the only players with 3,000 hits, 2,000 RBIs, and 2,000 runs scored. Only 2 players in the history of this great game. One out.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it and you break it down, the fact that, you know, guys just are dying to score 200 runs, 300 runs, 400 runs, whatever it is. That's 100 runs a year for 20 years.
There's no question in my mind. There's no question in my mind. I said it when he was a kid at Seattle playing shortstop. And he had Ken Griffey Jr. in center field. Wimpy was my partner, Tom Paciorek. We were talking about how great Junior was. And I remember we both agreed that the kid playing in front of Ken Griffey Jr. might turn out to be better than Ken Griffey Jr. No question in my mind he could have been the greatest player to ever play this game. I mean, going away. Oh, and 2. But didn't turn out that way. Still, that ball hit hard, and that's going to be a base hit. So a good way to start. Come on. Alexei now 1 for 2.
Now, we all know the problems and the fact that he sat out a full year. Now he's come back as a 40-year-old with 32 home runs and 83 driven in. As a 40-year-old after missing a year. I'm
pulling for him.
That's pretty amazing.
He's paid his dues.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. He got caught. He paid his dues. He made a mistake. And he's back.
Been a remarkable comeback year.
Oh, it's been awesome. Really has. As I mentioned, he's got 686 home runs.
That's good.
There's Carlos, struck out his first trip. Takes a cutter. Just amazes me how Yankee pitchers, everyone that comes up should be throwing a great cutter.
If they played it all with Mariano.
That's exactly right. That's foul. Both umpires called it.
Exactly down there, and doesn't matter where he's standing. He's standing in fair territory, but that ball is in foul territory.
That's home plate umpires call until the ball gets by the bag, unless there's a left-handed hitter hitting.
Sometimes you get screened out, you just can't see it.
Gap out there in right center. And that one is slashed. Souvenir left side.
Five singles so far for the boys. But as so often happens with Pineda, he hasn't walked anybody. And there were 3 singles last inning and no runs.
A lot of our young fans out there who, Alex being 40 now, who never saw him play when he was younger. He also stole 46 bases in 1 year. In fact, he's got 325 stolen bases. That ball hit hard. Count hangs at 0-2. And I tried like the devil. I told you this story. One night after a game in Denver, at dinner, tried like the devil to get Lou Piniella to trade that young shortstop before he blossomed out for that guy right there, Robin Ventura.
That would have turned out to be a pretty good trade.
Well, Lou said, He looked at me. He said, if I do that, they will absolutely hang me.
He had a point there. They would have.
Well, the thing was they needed a third baseman as he gets him upstairs. 1 out, 2 out. And Robin was at his peak. I mean, he was really playing well. And they were in a divisional race out there in Seattle. And I thought I could talk him into it, but I couldn't. So here's Flowers. Had a little Kansas City special into right field.
Lexi with 17 stolen bases. He's been caught 5 times. He leads by 2 over Adam Eaton for the team lead in that department.
There's no question that Alexi wants to steal 20. There's no question that Adam wants to lead the team.
Got a good lead at first. There he goes.
Oh, Lexi, he wants another review.
He wants
one every time.
A review every time. That's right.
So Robin now looking down.
So the throw beat him, and the question is Adam Eaton hands the phone to Mark Parent. Here you go.
And we'll check it out again. From up here, it looked like he was a gone goose.
Good throw by Murphy. Question is, did he get him on the elbow or did he get the hand in? Throw beats him. Can't really tell by that angle because you can't see if he got him on the elbow.
I couldn't tell.
Well, Adam Eaton is running out to the field, so he's got Alexi's glove with him. And I think they got him.
All righty. We trail it 3-0. Dustin Ackley. That's into left field. One pitch, 1 out. Ackley now for 2. So Here's Refsnyder. He had a solid single on a fastball away with a beautiful approach. Lined it hard into right field. Yeah, when you're a 297 minor league hitter over the course of a few seasons, you can swing the bat. He did not go.
Feel the field and culprit, and he says nope. Checked it up on the slider inside.
He's only, I believe, the fourth Korean-born player to hold a position player spot in the major leagues. Two down. So here's Brendan Ryan. He popped up to trace in right field.
He will occasionally lay down a bunt with that in mind. Tyler Saladino is even with the bag at third. Chris airmailed that one by Tyler Flowers.
There's a strike. There's a strike and a count 2-2. When Umber threw that perfect game out in Seattle, this was the last out. Check swing strikeout. He was hot. He gone. 5 strikeouts now. A 1-2-3 inning, but we still trail it 3-0.
Strongest fan photo to hashtag Chicago Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself on an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
We need some runs off this guy.
Well, early he missed with a whole lot of sliders, and the boys weren't able to take advantage of it. Still 5 singles, and nobody's dented the plate.
Tyler was at the plate when Alexa was caught stealing. Now a soft single into right field. And he takes first pitch strike. Slider. That's not a Kansas City special. That's a solid single to center.
That was another slider. That one was down. And you saw what Murphy was doing. He was patting the ground. He wanted that ball on the ground. He didn't get it there. And Tyler hit it on the screw.
Well, that certainly has become a designer pitch all of its own. They didn't have it when I played to the degree that they have it now, and that's that 2-strike breaking ball in the dirt.
For the good catchers, for the guys that can smother it, it's a great weapon.
Well, that sure, but the biggest difference now is that back in those days they didn't throw because the umpires would never call it, so you didn't have to swing at it. It was a high ball league with those big balloons, chest protectors. Put a good pass on it just underneath it, and that's souvenir right side. Tyler went out to Beltran and right his first at bat. First of 4 here at Yankee Stadium. Then we come home. 3 with Kansas City, 3 with Detroit. And that is it.
Kansas City has lost their closer for the remainder of the season. Greg Holland with an elbow injury.
Well, he's been pitching with some problems for a while.
He's really had some problems, and finally now Wade Davis is going to take over. And he's devastated.
If he's healthy. That 3-game series. That was close. They had part of the zone. 1 out.
It's got the high part of the zone. It's a straight change. And he gets rung up by Clint Fagan.
Well, here's Adam. A strikeout and a sharp single into right field. There's another sharp single in the right field. And here's Abreu. He is lined hard into right center. If you missed that, it was the bullet. Was slicing away from Ellsbury. All of a sudden he got out there and just flattened out on him and gave Ellsbury the chance to come over and make the play.
Murphy went out to the mound on instructions from that dugout because the Yankee bullpen now looks like it's starting to work. As Pineda has given up 7 hits. Hasn't given up any runs yet. But a whole lot of folks moving around in that Yankee pen. So far, nobody throwing.
Oh, with the exception of 1, 6 of the 7 have been line drives.
That was one of the big problems for Joe Girardi when Eovaldi went down. He had to take Adam Warren out of their bullpen. And now he's been looking for a 6th and 7th inning guy. It used to be Warren, and then Betances, and then Miller. And it was pretty much a 6-inning game. Not so anymore.
Well, that's what every manager's dreaming of today. Managing 6-inning games. That is the magic number.
Well, Ned Yost has certainly parlayed that last year almost into a World Series championship.
One out away.
Yep.
Well, Piniella actually was the first guy that people started talking about managing 6-inning games, and Lou even talked about it himself. He said, because when you got the kind of bullpen I got, I just managed a 6-inning game.
That was the Nasty Boys in 1990 with the Cincinnati Reds.
And Seattle when they had those 3 left-handers out there and won 116 games.
Yeah. Yep.
Watch out.
That almost got Jose right in the ankle.
Quite a difference in having to manage an 8-inning game, or in some cases a 9-inning game versus a 6-inning game. Headley with a nice stop. The peg. Nice play. Man's made 22 errors this year, and he makes a terrific play right there.
He saves 1 and maybe 2 runs. If you take a look at where Young in your picture, he was set up into left center field. If that one goes down the line and rattles around for a while, it's going to be 2 runs. It's going to make it a 1-run game. But he makes the play and throws him out.
That's the first decision Girardi's got to make right here in this game. Trace Thompson on deck. Melky, who's 1 for 2 at the plate. And you just can't put up 4 fingers with him being the tying run. Well, if he's going to make pitches like that, no decision to be
94 in the outside corner.
Melky's been swinging that bat, and Girardi well knows that. Count evens at 1. That's a nice play, backhanded by Dustin Ackley. So a couple of hard hit balls get caught at the corners, and they keep us off the board. As we're in the bottom of the 5th inning, we trail it 3-0. 3-run homer by Carlos Beltran in the 3rd. That was the only hit they had that inning. Just a line shot just over the fence down in the left field corner. Ellsbury 0 for 1. He also was hit by a pitch. And then, as always, for the most part, always, once a guy who can run gets hit by a pitch, he's going to steal second base, and that's what he did. Picked up his 20th. He gone.
That was a good off-speed breaking ball, very similar to the one that he threw him in the 1st inning, only that one was in the dirt away. This time he just floated it, and Ellsbury way out in front. You see the front side open, no chance to get that ball away when you open like that.
There is the one pitch right there. There's a breaking ball strike to Headley, who singled. Little duck snort, and he also reached on interference. Getting back to that, taking something off that break. That's for one pitch that he still can refine, even more so than he's got right now. If he does that, especially with 2 strikes to the left-handers, they go.
The left-handers this year, for whatever reason, have had more success against him than in any other year of his career.
Primarily, he's been hard.
But we do have to bear in mind, and it's hard to with what he's accomplished, he's still a relatively young pitcher.
26.
I mean, his best years are still ahead of him.
That is high off the bat of Alex. Now Adam will make the call, and that is a quick 1-2-3 inning. We have completed 5, and we trail it 3-0. Dan Jiggets, Jim Miller, and Lance Briggs on Bears pregame live, presented by Meyer. Then after the game, flip back to CSN for locker room reaction and more on Bears postgame live, presented by Nissan. That's starting Sunday at 2 on CSN Chicago. Trace Thompson 0 for 2, a line drive to right center and a strikeout. First pitch strike. Good take, just off the corner.
Ruddy knows if Pineda can get him through 7, he's in pretty good shape. If you got to take him out after 6, well, that's when it gets tough for Joe.
That ball hit hard. Stay fair. It will. You can put it on the board. Yes. A bomb by Trace. That's his 5th. And we get on the board. It's a 3-1 Yankee lead.
This one hugged the line the whole way. It was Paul Schreiber on the call. Gets a slider that stays on the inside part of the plate. Our Ford home run replay, and as you can see, it's fair by a pretty good margin.
Well, it's about time one of those sliders that was spiraling up there left the ballpark. What a thrill for a young rookie playing his first game in Yankee Stadium, and hits a home run.
Well, he hit the daylights out of the ball the first time up in the 2nd inning.
The daylights out of that one too. That's just a line drive in that second deck up there.
Well, he has accomplished exactly what he wanted to accomplish when he got here, and that was leave an impression that he's ready for prime time. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
I don't think there's anybody in a White Sox uniform that feels any different.
No. Nope. He's been awfully good, and doesn't matter where you put him in the outfield. He just makes very graceful, very smooth, and very effective catches of just about everything.
Yes, he did. 6 strikeouts now. Well, I don't think there's been a more graceful outfielder since a guy named Devon White, who was with the Toronto Ball Club for years. Devon was absolutely nothing but a picture of grace out there, as is Trace Thompson.
Well, both those guys have something in common, and that's very long strides. They actually are moving a lot quicker than it looks when you watch them on television.
And that's right at him in center field. So 2 out, and of course, with that home run by Trace, the Alex Nelius family and Christine O'Reilly and White Sox Charities will hook up once again for many, many times over the years in loving memory of Ursula. Here's Carlos, 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts.
He had his first major league hit in this ballpark 13 months ago, August of last year. For Pineda, that's the 19th home run he's given up. That puts him 3rd on the ball club in that dubious department.
Oh, and 2 the count.
Yankee pen up and going. It's Justin Wilson. He is a man that Joe Girardi has anointed in the 6th and 7th inning.
That's lifted into right field. But the home run by Trace Thompson, his 5th. And we now trail it by 2.
Left field at U.S. Cellular Field is accessible from the 100, 300, and 500 levels. Learn baseball fundamentals from Chicago White Sox Training Academy coaches in batting and pitching cages, base running areas, and more. It's all from Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
There's Beltran. And a hard single, and then a very hard line drive 3-run homer.
Time now for our Xfinity high-speed action replay, and it is the aforementioned 3-run homer. Got that fastball in the inside part of the plate and rode it out, and that's the difference in this one.
Just tuning in, Chris, with 6 strikeouts in this game. And that ball hit high and deep into left center field, but we got a man there right in front of the track. Change up. He got up and he almost got it out of here.
That's one of the longest power alleys in all of baseball. 399 to left center field. And on a changeup, you got to really hit it to get it out in that direction.
Here's Chris Young, 6'4" fielder's choice on a strikeout, swinging on a slider. It's off the end of the bat, softly into left field. Here's 3 for 4 in stolen bases.
Menard's pitch tracks will show you a changeup, and it's a pretty good pitch. It's low and away. But Young able to hang with it and dump it into left center. Boy, he used to really be able to run, but those days are by the boards. 3 stolen bases in 4 attempts. That's it.
And here is John Ryan Murphy, catcher, a strikeout. And a ground out to Saladino. Saladino at third tonight if you're just tuning in.
Chris Sale's pitching line is brought to you by American Sale. It's 5 1/3, 5 hits, 3 earned runs on just 1 walk with 6 strikeouts. It would appear that Justin Wilson is going to come in the game because he's continued to throw in the bullpen. This will be appearance number 70 for him.
Three and 0 the count. Come back and get him. Only walked one guy, but that was a walk to Alex Rodriguez, who scored. There's one.
Dustin Ackley in the on-deck circle.
There's that bullet. So the count got him.
He took that 3-1 fastball at 92 down the middle, and when he saw this one at 94, he just jumped all over it. When you're not playing every day and you get the count that much in your favor, that's a gift.
One out, 2 on, and here's Dustin Ackley. He's grounded out 3-1, and he's gone out to left field. Takes first pitch strike. That one at 95. He gone. 2 down.
Threw that one way in on the hands of Ackley, and he got him to swing through it. 266 strikeouts. And he is knocking at the door of Ed Walsh.
Well, it's just has to be stated again that
Ed Walsh threw 1 billion innings.
unbelievable. I mean, really, you know, guys today couldn't even comprehend. But it was for the most part in that 5-game stretch that he had when he got all those strikeouts to get up to that number. The fewest innings he threw in one of those years was 368. That was the fewest. The most he threw was 464.
Well, he probably got $50-$60 raise for 464.
That was a big raise back in those days.
So now Rumbelow has joined Wilson, a right-hander. Ref Snyder back in the big leagues again. He was up earlier in the season for 4 games. Yankees told him, you got to work on your defense, son, and they sent him back down.
Well, Ref Snyder and Chase Thompson are very good friends, very close friends. Made a statement. Hopefully Thompson and I, Trace and I, are both in the lineup together. It'll be pretty special because he and I are very close. It'd be kind of cool to have both our families celebrate that. Dad's a big man, 6'8".
Well, hopefully he doesn't have some big power because Melky is very shallow in left field.
He gone. 8 strikeouts. And we're into the 7th, trailing 3-1.
Camp is for you. It takes place January 18th through the 24th, 2016 at Camelback Ranch, Glendale, Arizona. To reserve your roster spot, email fantasycamp at camelbackranchbaseball.com or call 623-302-5078. Justin Wilson comes into the game, and he has been very, very versatile. 70th appearance, 5-0, 3.04 ERA. The Yankees have one thing. They have an abundance of catchers, and they were able to trade Francisco Cervelli to Pittsburgh. Cervelli's done a great job for them, but in return, they got Wilson. And Wilson has done a terrific job out of the Yankee pen. So Greg Bird is checked in at first base defensively.
And first pitch swung on, foul back. Good rip by Tyler, who's 2 for 2 in this ball game. 3-6-0 for them, 1-8-0 for us. Here at the top of the 7th inning, if you're just joining us.
There's a look at Bird, and when the Yankees were looking for a pitcher to trade deadline, everybody wanted the man you're looking at, Greg Bird. Brian Cashman said absolutely not. And Bird looks like he's going to be at first base when Mark Teixeira leaves, and he'll probably be there for a long time.
Right over the top. 1 out. Here's Tyler. Tyler's going out to right and struck out. Called out on the pitch he didn't like, but it did have a piece of the zone.
One thing they worried about with Wilson was getting the ball over the plate. They knew he had great stuff, and this year he has gotten the ball over the plate. He's also fanned 62 in 56 2/3 innings. So in trying to fill the void for Adam Warren, he's done it. We're going to see Warren as a starter in this series.
We will indeed see him on Saturday against Johnny Danks, and it'll be a 3:05 Central start. And that game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Flips that one back into the mezzanine. Close pitch. Going either way, and it goes Tyler's way. That ball hit hard. Get over his head. It won't. That's a hang ruffle for Tyler. That ball was crushed.
Nice play by Young, who came up and spent a long time playing center field, but not in an outfield that has Jacoby Ellsbury, so he's taking his skills to left. He made a nice play here, and this is a rocket.
So here's Adam, 2 for 3, 2 solid singles to right field. Takes the bunt, takes the ball. Corners in close. Bird at first, even with the bag off the line. And Headley in on the grass at third and off the line. Big gap in right center.
Adams' job pretty simple here. Get on any way you can and bring up Jose as a tying run.
Two balls and a strike. That's a good concept because Jose is due. 0 for 3 in this game. He was 0 for 3 yesterday. In fact, he was just 1 for 14 in that Tiger series. Off the facing of the upper deck. Right off State Farm. There's a shot going foul. Good effort by the ball boy. Got it right in the webbing and just couldn't hold on to it.
Wilson left that ball up and out over the plate. And trying to take it to left field. Sliced it too far foul.
And the 2-2 pitch. would say he is the team leader by far in foul balls.
Jeff Samardzija coming off a gem at Detroit. Didn't get much better than a one-hit shutout.
Another thing that I was so impressed with, first of all, it was the Kansas City special broken bat, little duck snort over the shortstop's head. He did not hang one breaking ball in that whole game.
Nope, that's about, for location and stuff, about as good as it gets.
And that's a good at bat right there to get on for the big man. Abreu is lined hard to right center, with Ellsbury making a good play on him. Went out to right. And then Headley on a hard hit ground ball made a good play on it. So he's hit it hard twice.
Time now for AT&T Uverse Multiview.
Murphy keeping it in the vicinity.
Dylan Betances losing in the pen.
His big arm, literally and figuratively.
Well, what a year he's had.
Well, he's been an all-star too, last year and this year.
A 1.40 ERA in 68 appearances this year. The tendency for Joe is to bring him into the seventh, especially in a situation like this. He just as soon save him for the eighth.
And the count 3-1. It's full.
Now the advantage for Adam is any kind of double he's going to score. He's going to be off with the pitch. I don't think Girardi would bring in Betances to face Cabrera. I think he would feel comfortable with Cabrera hitting from the right side. But he certainly would bring him in to face Thompson if it goes that far.
Two out in the payoff pitch. There's a Kansas City special. And now Adam on third, so two out runners at the corners. And here comes Melky.
Worked it to a 3-2 count. He got a high fastball on the inner portion and able to get just enough of it to ease it into center field. And here comes Joe. Usually that means that he's going to the pen, and that's exactly where he is going. But Betances will turn Cabrera around from the left side. So as he comes in, we'll step out and be back after these messages. Betances, 6'8" right-hander, 6-3 ERA, 140 on for the 69th time. He was used to close 11 times. He was successful 8 of them, 122 strikeouts in 77 of the third innings. Now he does get left-handers out better than right-handers. And Joe Girardi will turn around Melky from his best side, and that's the left side.
Well, we had Pineda, who was 6'7", 260, and Betances, 6'8", 265. These guys just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Wilson is a shrimp. He's 6'2", 203.
Betances, local. Grew up a Yankee fan. Grew up not far from here. So here we go. Tying runs the board with 2 out. It's a 3-1 Yankee lead here in the top of the 7th inning.
When the season started, they had Betances penciled in as their closer. But after bringing in Andrew Miller, they decided that he was better suited for the job, and Miller has been terrific this year in the closing role.
3-0. Trace on deck.
Betances was 7 wild pitches this year.
High strike is called. And it's full count.
Melky looks back at Clint Fagan. Thought that ball might have been wide. It could have gone either way. It went Betances' way.
So a big gap out there in right center. And Melky just fouls it away.
He was able to stay alive on the 3-2 slider. Something you certainly can't look for.
And that will load him up.
Just as we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And here's our Miller moment. It came last inning. A long home run, the only run off Pineda that made it where it stands right now at 3-1.
Trace is 1 for 3 and has hit it very hard twice. Takes first pitch strike. All right, Trace, now you got to cinch it up and hunker down, young man.
Another slider. What you got to hope for is maybe one in the dirt. You have to figure those 7 previous wild pitches have been sliders. And there it was, and a nice stop by Murphy.
That's getting to be, as we talked about earlier, that's getting to be almost an automatic with 2 strikes.
Just better have a lot of confidence in your catcher with a man 90 feet away, as Murphy somehow able to corral this one.
Almost a sure thing. That one just missed. Good take by Trace.
Tying run to Abreu at second.
Outfield there deep. He started to come up.
Well, he
didn't start. You can see his shoulder.
He flinched. He absolutely flinched. But at the last second, he gave Trace Thompson the benefit of the doubt.
And that's ball 4, a good at bat after falling down 0-2. It's a 3-2 ball game.
Second RBI for Trace, his 15th. And now Larry Rothschild comes out. They have a talk with Betances. Was walked the only 2 men he's faced.
He's got 15 RBIs and 89 at bats.
5 big homers. That pencils out for a very big year, over 600 at bats.
So here's Adam. Adam 1 for 3, and he's hit the ball hard twice. That breaking ball.
Giroux with the bases loaded for Adam, very strong.
It goes around the plate. Big pitch coming up, the 1-1. That had the plate. And it's 1-2. We pick up one, we trail it 3-2.
First at the Chicago Hilton. You'll score an autograph or photo with your favorite or current player or coach. And there's going to be a lot of White Sox greats in attendance. You can play games, win prizes, shop for White Sox gear. It'll be a weekend of White Sox baseball you won't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now, so visit whitesox.com/SoxFest. Things getting a whole lot more interesting as it's become a one-run game. Chris Sale's still on the hill.
Well, we had a really good at-bat right there by the youngster Trace Thompson, walking with the bases loaded after falling behind 0-2 on from a tough right-hander with a good slider. That's just a good, impressive, solid at-bat.
Chris needs 2 more to tie the record and 3 to have it all by himself.
He has 8 strikeouts. He's walked 1 man, unfortunately. And ironically, that 1 walk scored. Plus, it was the 2000th run for Alex Rodriguez in his career, becoming only the 2nd player in Major League history, along with Hank Aaron, to do what they've done. And that is 3,000 hits, 2,000 RBIs, and 2,000 runs scored. So here is Brendan Ryan, the shortstop. He's 0 for 2. He's popped up to right, and he has struck out. Oh, and 2.
Nate Jones is loosening in the pen. There's a look at Nate.
He did not go. Just got a piece of it. 35,142. That's below the average of 40,086. That's tickets sold. That's not fannies and seats.
No, there's a few short of that. Then again, there's a few things going on in Chicago these days, and in New York these days.
That is high into left field. Melky.
Brendan Ryan, he hit that ball pretty hard.
He just missed it, as a matter of fact.
He's a little unhappy because he got the one pitch he could really scald. He has yet to hit a home run in a Yankee uniform.
He came to about a 32nd of an inch right there from that being his first. That's into right field. Off Ellsbury. He's 0 for 3. 2 down. So here's Headley. Had a single in the first, reached on interference, and scored in the third when Beltran hit that 3-run homer as he takes that slider strike, a breaking ball. Pretty good pitch, didn't get it. Overall, Clint Fagan's had a pretty good game. He's missed a few, but they all do.
Yeah, not bad at all. Very few guys have looked back.
Always. It's solid into left field.
We've seen 2 interference calls in 2 different series. So one in Detroit, one here. You don't see him too often. I think Alexi did a pretty good job on that one because you took the speed burner off base. Now it didn't work out because of the 3-run homer by Beltran, but not a bad option.
It was a good play.
Yeah, you take Ellsbury off base, you put Headley on base. You'll make that trade all the time.
Here's Alex. Struck out, called out his first at bat. That was a bad pitch. Walked and scored, and then he popped up to center. Tomorrow night, look, talented southpaws on the bump. CC Sabathia for them. Carlos Rodon for us. And that is popped up. Major League pop up. And that'll retire the side. We have completed 7 and we trail it 3-2. straight quality starts. That's not too shabby for a rookie. As our Sox face CC Sabathia and these Yankees, it all starts tomorrow at 6 Central, right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Gregorius moves into the ball game at shortstop. Another one of these young, talented shortstops. Talking with former player and former manager Lee Mazzilli before the game. He and I were talking about just some of the great young talent that's coming into this game of baseball.
Been pretty amazing this year to see the guys come up, and a lot of them just have very good years.
They all can play.
Yep.
I mean, it's just that simple. They all can play. Alexei, that evens counted one. Alexei has popped a short, singled, and lined out to center field. Yeah, besides throwing the leather, these young shortstops can swing that lumber. There's a shot. That's going to be a base hit. So the leadoff man aboard.
But Tansis' slider is not near as good as it's been, because that one has kind of rolled over the middle of the plate.
Well, we have certainly had some pitches to hit tonight. Unfortunately, we stranded 9 guys, bases loaded twice. But it's not because we didn't have pitches to hit. We had them. So you got Headley in on the grass looking for the bunt. And he takes ball 1.
Tansis has had a very good ERA this year, but he hasn't had the best control. 78 innings, 39 walks.
Uh-oh. Two down.
Well, Girardi decided to get Rev Snyder out of there, slide Brendan Ryan into second, and just like that, a 4-6-3 double play. Good pick by Ryan. That was a short hop. And then Gregorius guns him out at first.
Well, Brendan can throw some weather at you.
Yeah. And he's always been able to do that since coming up with the Cardinals way back when.
So here's Tyler. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Takes that breaking ball strike. And the count 0-2. If you're just tuning in, we scored 1 in the 6th. That was a home run by Trace Thompson. A blast out of here into the second deck. And then Trace walked with the bases loaded. That's a quick inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's still 3-2 New York. very much, buddy, as we get a pitching change.
Nate Jones comes into the game. And Nate on for the 18th time. He's 1-2 ERA, a little below 3.5. 25 strikeouts and 18 1/3. His job, well, retire their hottest hitter in Beltran and then get out of the inning and turn it over to the offense, most likely against Andrew Miller.
Beltran is single sharply and then lined a 3-run home run, a bullet just over the fence, right down the line in left field. He also has gone out deep to center. 3-7-0 for them, 2-10-0 for us. We have stranded 9, they have stranded 6. So we have had our chances. Just couldn't execute. 38-year-old veteran. One and two the count. Our schedule hitters in the 9th are Saladino, then back to the top of the order with Eaton and Abreu. And that's going foul.
And Brian McCann in the on-deck circle. Again, their everyday catcher and very potent left-hand bat.
He gone.
That was a real good slider from Nate.
And nice strikeout for our pitching. And here comes Robin. Chris Sale, if you're just tuning in, had 8 in his 7 innings of work. He now has 267. All right. Robin. I'm going to talk with Nate. He's made the call to the pen. You say, take a hike, buddy. Good job, and we'll be back.
Eighth inning, he's got to face pretty tough left-hand hitter, Brian McCann. McCann's got 91 driven in with his 26 home runs. And there you look at Zach. He's been a busy man. Zach coming on for the 67th time, ERA 3.63.
Brian McCann, one of the best hitting catchers in the game. Takes first pitch strike.
And this park absolutely made for him because he's always been a dead pull hitter.
I'll always remember Brian McCann for more than one thing, but especially one thing. When he wouldn't let Carlos Gomez cross the home plate.
Yep.
I'll always remember him for that. The only time I've ever seen that done.
Well, there's a look at the closer, Andrew Miller.
Yeah, he's got 91 RBIs, 126 games. That'll work.
They got what they paid for. They paid for a run-producing, left-hand hitting catcher.
Well, there's another guy. There's another guy that's been under the radar here. Probably had the toughest GM job in the history of the game, as a matter of fact.
Brian Cashman?
Brian Cashman, when you had George Steinbrenner as the boss, that's the toughest GM job maybe in baseball's history. And he has done the job.
4 World Series titles.
There's only one other guy that did that. Buzzy DeVasey with the Dodgers. Ryan got a winning percentage. .594.
It's pretty good.
Tyler's got him. 2 down.
Follow the White Sox with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat brings you live look-ins, highlights, replay previews, StatCasts, and the MLB.TV game of the day. Download the MLB.com at Bat app on your smartphone and tablet now.
So here's John Ryan Murphy. Takes strike 1. Brian Cashman has been a terrific general manager. People always saying, well, he's had the money. Well, there have been a lot of general managers that had the money, but they hadn't got it done.
They've had the money for quite some time in Los Angeles, and the Dodgers have yet to get it done. Now, this year might be an exception because they're pretty good. They got a rough road for them.
Good job by Zach. And we're into the 9th. We need 1 to tie.
He's 3-2. His ERA 2.04. He's on for the 57th time. He's got 34 saves. And he's got 93 strikeouts, 18 walks, and 57 in the third innings. Slade Heathcock checks into right field. And Brett Gardner checks in left field.
And here we go. Here's Tyler. Takes first pitch strike. Tyler's 0 for 3 tonight. Last time up, he just hit a bullet that Chris Young caught in left field. And very quickly, the count 0-2. Andrew Miller in a Tiger uniform, one of his first major league starts as he gets him. One out. Some of the greatest left-handed stuff you will ever see in a game.
He threw against the White Sox, and it was just an overmatched situation.
Well, I mentioned this before. A.J. Pierzynski played in that game. He says it's the best left-handed stuff he'd ever seen.
But the one thing he did have, and the one thing that the Tigers noticed right away, was he threw radically across his body, and they traded him almost immediately to the Florida Marlins. And he did wind up getting hurt. But as a closer, wow.
Most guys that throw across their body in an extreme fashion are going to get hurt.
Yeah. Especially fireballers, and he was one of those.
Look at this. That's his third hit. So the tying run aboard, and that'll bring up Abreu.
His slider was right over the middle of the plate, and Adam just stayed right with it. That batting average just keeps on going higher and higher.
Abreu's 1 for 4. Had a single to center in the 7th. One time, Jose, one time. Takes that one at 95.
There were a lot of people very surprised that Baltimore did not make every effort to sign him. They had Nelson Cruz, they had Miller, they let both of them go. The Yankees don't have Andrew Miller. They're not even close to the postseason.
No balls, 2 strikes. Top of the 9th, 3-2 Yankees with 1 on and 1 out.
David Robertson's first trip back to the Bronx without wearing pinstripes.
Two down.
Here's a disappearing slider. And he has him well out in front. Once again, Murphy able to block the ball. He's done a nice job behind the plate.
Melky 1 for 3. Takes a breaking ball strike. Outfield, they're deep as they should be. Straight up, straight out. And when this ball comes down, the first of this 4-game set will be over. So we had plenty of chances, Steve. Couldn't cash in, but Chris Sale, 7 innings, a 3-run homer to Beltran. He had 8 strikeouts.
Unfortunately, Chris really made the one mistake. He got the ball into Beltran, their hottest hitter. He made him pay, and then the offenses couldn't push him across.
So Joe Girardi going out, and let's check out our player of the game. It is the 38-year-old veteran who was 2 for 4 tonight with that big 3-run homer. Carlos Beltran, our player of the game. So for Steve Stone, for our Hall of Fame director Jim Angio, our producer John Waldron, for the mayor Mean Joe Brew, for our very fine technical manager Mark Harper, and also for Brian Robbins, for Jimmy Dos Santos, for Basil Matichek, Steve Mendel, and Mike Masseri. Also our executive producer Jim Corno Jr. This is the Hawk. So long, everybody. Coming up next, Subaru Postgame Live with Chuck and Bill. You've been watching White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.